The rhythmic tapping of Zara's fingernails against her keyboard echoed through her minimalist apartment. The clock on her wall showed 2:37 a.m., but the deadline for her marketing proposal wouldn't wait. Outside her window, the city glowed with artificial light, a concrete jungle that never truly slept. Zara took another sip of her now-cold coffee and rubbed her eyes. At 32, she had already climbed halfway up the corporate ladder at New Age Development Corporation. Her Instagram feed showcased a carefully curated life, downtown brunches, designer outfits, and motivational quotes about hustling. But the camera never captured moments like this. The exhaustion, the loneliness, the growing emptiness behind her achievements. Her phone buzzed. A text from her grandmother, Noma, appeared on the screen. "Don't forget your promise to visit this weekend. The village misses you." Zara sighed. She had almost forgotten her reluctant agreement to visit her grandmother's rural village, a 5-hour drive from the city. It had been 3 years since her last visit, and the timing couldn't be worse with her big presentation on Monday. Still, something in her grandmother's gentle persistence had worn down her excuses. "I'll make it work," she whispered to herself, returning to her laptop. When Friday evening arrived, Zara loaded her sleek electric car with a small overnight bag. The GPS guided her along highways that gradually gave way to narrower roads, then finally to the dusty path leading to Mji Missouri, the village where her grandmother had been born and where Zara had spent summers as a child. As modern structures disappeared from view, Zara felt a strange sensation, like shedding a skin she hadn't known was too tight. The sunset painted the sky in shades no Instagram filter could replicate. She rolled down her window, allowing the scent of earth and wildflowers to replace her car's air freshener. When she finally pulled up to her grandmother's modest home, Noma was waiting on the porch, a wide smile crossing her face. "Njukawangu," grandmother called out, using the term of endearment she had always used for Zara. "My granddaughter has finally remembered the way home." Zara stepped out of the car, suddenly aware of how out of place her designer clothes and city mannerisms seemed here. "Hello, Noma," she said, accepting the warm embrace that smelled of freshly baked bread and the special blend of herbs her grandmother always kept in her pockets. "You look tired, child," Noma said, pulling back to study Zara's face. "The city is eating your spirit." Zara forced a smile. "I'm fine, Noma. Just busy with work." "Ah, always the work." Noma nodded, leading her into the house. Come in. The village water runs clearer than city water. It will wash away the dust of your journey." That night, Zara lay awake on her childhood bed, listening to the symphony of insects and rustling leaves outside so different from the sirens and traffic noise of the city. Her grandmother's words echoed in her mind. "The city is eating your spirit." Was that true? Zara had always been proud of her accomplishments. The university degree, the promotions, the apartment she had purchased without any help. Yet lately, she'd found herself wondering if this was all there was to life, an endless pursuit of the next milestone, the next paycheck. At breakfast, Zara watched her grandmother prepare a simple meal with ingredients from her garden. At 78, Noma moved with the grace of someone half her age, her dark skin bearing the lines of a lifetime of laughter and wisdom. "Your grandfather used to say that food tastes better when it knows the hands that grew it," Noma said, placing a plate of fresh fruits and homemade bread before Zara. "The grocery delivery service I use is pretty good," Zara replied, immediately regretting how shallow the comment sounded. Noma just smiled. "Today, I need to collect herbs from the forest. Would you like to join me? Or perhaps you have important city things to do on that phone of yours." Zara glanced at her phone, no signal. Perhaps it was a sign. "I'll come with you, Noma." They spent the morning collecting medicinal plants, Noma sharing stories about each one. How this leaf cured fevers, how that root eased pain. Zara found herself captivated by her grandmother's knowledge of wisdom that couldn't be found in any of her business books or online courses. As they walked back to the village, Zara noticed how different life was here. Children played in open spaces instead of staring at screens. Neighbors called out greetings to each other. And most notably, women walked to and from the village well, carrying containers of water on their heads or in their hands. "No running water?" Zara asked, though she knew the answer. The village had resisted modernization in many ways, preserving traditions while the world around them rushed forward. "We have what we need," Noma replied. "The well gives us water. The earth gives us food. The community gives us strength." Zara nodded, though she couldn't imagine living without the conveniences she had grown accustomed to. Yet there was something about the simplicity here that called to a part of her she had long neglected. Later that afternoon, Zara decided to explore the village on her own while her grandmother rested. She followed the worn path leading to the communal well, now quiet as most villagers had completed their water collection earlier in the day. But there, struggling with two large water jugs, was an elderly woman Zara didn't recognize. Bent with age, her thin arms trembled under the weight of the containers. Her faded dress had been patched many times, and her feet were bare against the dusty ground. Zara hesitated. In the city, she had learned to walk past those who needed help, to avoid eye contact with strangers. But here, in the village, different rules applied. "Can I help you with those?" Zara called out, already moving toward the woman. The old woman looked up, surprise crossing her weathered face. "Oh, thank you, young one. These old bones aren't what they used to be." As Zara took one of the heavy jugs, she noticed something striking about the woman. Despite her apparent poverty and age, her eyes held a clarity and intensity that seemed to look right through Zara's carefully constructed facade. "I'm Zara," she introduced herself, adjusting her grip on the heavy container. "The people here call me Mama Pendo," the old woman replied, her voice surprisingly melodious. "Love's mother in your language. You're not from this village originally?" Zara asked as they began walking together. Mama Pendo smiled. "I have been here long enough that it doesn't matter where I was before. And you? You belong to Noma, yes? I see her in your eyes." Zara nodded, surprised by the woman's perception. "She's my grandmother. I'm visiting from the city." "Ah, the city?" Mama Pendo said, her tone neither judgmental nor impressed. "A place of many things but few necessities." Something about the comment struck Zara as strangely profound. But before she could respond, Mama Pendo continued, "My home is just beyond those acacia trees. It's not much, but it has stood against many storms." They walked in silence for a few minutes, Zara increasingly aware of the weight of the water. How did women do this multiple times a day? Her designer workout routines suddenly seemed inadequate preparation for real physical labor. "You're wondering why we don't have running water," Mama Pendo said, as if reading her thoughts. "Some things are worth the effort they require. The well water tastes of the earth's blessing. Pipe water tastes of metal and chemicals." Zara didn't know how to respond to that. Instead, she asked, "Do you live alone?" A brief shadow crossed Mama Pendo's face. "Now I do. Once, my home was full of voices and laughter." They approached a small mud brick house with a thatched roof. Unlike most homes in the village, it stood apart, surrounded by a garden of flowers and plants Zara didn't recognize. "Please, come in," Mama Pendo invited after they had set down the water jugs. "Let me offer you tea for your kindness." Zara was about to decline. She had planned to be back at her grandmother's house before sunset, but something about Mama Pendo's home called to her curiosity. She stepped inside. The interior was simple but extraordinary. Every surface held evidence of careful craftsmanship. Woven baskets, carved wooden figures, clay pots painted with intricate patterns. Bundles of dried herbs hung from the ceiling, filling the air with an earthy fragrance. "Did you make all these?" Zara asked, running her finger along a particularly beautiful tapestry. "With these hands," Mama Pendo confirmed, already busy preparing tea. "When you live long enough, you gather many skills." Zara wandered further into the small home, noticing that despite the obvious poverty, there was a sense of abundance here, not material things, but a beauty and intention. "Your home is beautiful," Zara said honestly. Mama Pendo smiled. "A home should reflect the soul of its keeper." "What does your home say about you, Zara from the city?" The question caught Zara off guard. Her modern apartment, while expensive and tastefully decorated, suddenly seemed sterile and impersonal in her mind's eye. "I'm not there much," she finally answered. "Work keeps me busy." Mama Pendo nodded, handing Zara a cup of tea in a chipped but beautiful clay mug. "And what is this work that consumes so much of your life?" "I'm a development executive," Zara explained. "I help plan and market new building projects." "You build homes for people?" "Well, not exactly. More like luxury apartments, shopping centers, office buildings. Places for people to live, work, and spend money." Mama Pendo took a sip of her tea. "And does this work fill your spirit?" The directness of the question made Zara uncomfortable. No one in her circle ever asked such things. Success was measured in promotions and acquisitions, not spiritual fulfillment. "It pays well," she answered defensively. Mama Pendo's eyes crinkled at the corners. "That was not my question, child." Zara sipped her tea to avoid answering, then nearly gasped that the flavor was unlike anything she had tasted before, both soothing and invigorating. "This is amazing," she said. "What's in it?" "Life," Mama Pendo replied simply. "Plants that grow with purpose, harvested with gratitude." As they continued talking, Zara noticed strange symbols carved into the wooden beams of the house. In one corner stood a staff adorned with feathers and small mirrors. On a shelf were arranged stones of various colors and shapes. "You notice much," Mama Pendo observed, following Zara's gaze. "Those are remnants of old knowledge, ways of understanding the world that many have forgotten." "Like what?" Zara asked, genuinely curious. "Like knowing that everything is connected, that what we take, we must give back, that true wealth comes not from what we possess, but from what we share." Mama Pendo's eyes seemed to look not at Zara, but through her. "You carry much weight, child, and not just for my water jug." The next morning, Zara woke with a strange urge to return to Mama Pendo's home. She told herself it was simply curiosity about the old woman's crafts and knowledge, but something deeper was at work, a pull she couldn't explain. "I'm going for a walk," she told her grandmother after breakfast. Noma gave her a knowing smile. "Did you meet Mama Pendo yesterday?" Zara nodded, surprised. "How did you know?" "The village has few secrets," Noma replied. "She rarely accepts help or visitors. You must have made an impression." "Who is she, really?" Zara asked. Noma's expression became thoughtful. "She came to our village many years ago, during a time of great hardship. Some say she was once someone important in the outside world. Others say she has special gifts. All I know is that when she speaks, it is wise to listen." This mysterious description only heightened Zara's interest. She found herself retracing her steps to Mama Pendo's isolated home, and to her surprise, the old woman was waiting outside, as if expecting her. "I thought you might return," Mama Pendo said, her eyes twinkling. "Would you like to help me collect water again today?" For the next few days, Zara fell into an unexpected routine. Each morning, she would help Mama Pendo carry water from the well. Then they would work in the garden, Mama Pendo teaching her the names and uses of various plants, some for healing, others for cooking, and some for purposes Zara couldn't quite understand. "This one," Mama Pendo said, pointing to a small yellow flower, "helps one see clearly when the path forward is clouded." "Like for vision problems?" Zara asked. Mama Pendo chuckled. "Not the eyes of the face, child, the eyes of the heart." In the afternoons, they would sit in the shade, Mama Pendo's nimble fingers weaving baskets or grinding herbs, while sharing stories that seemed to speak directly to Zara's unspoken questions. "There was once a young lioness," Mama Pendo began one day, "who was raised among sheep. She believed herself to be a sheep, afraid of her own reflection in the water." Each story contained wisdom that resonated with Zara's struggles. The emptiness of success without purpose, the weight of expectations, the courage required to change course. The villagers watched this growing friendship with curiosity. Some nodded in approval, while others whispered behind their hands. One elderly man approached Zara at the well one day. "Mama Pendo rarely takes an interest in visitors," he said. "You must have something special inside you." "I'm just helping with her water," Zara replied, embarrassed by the attention. The man shook his head. "That woman has carried her own water for decades, through sickness and health. If she accepts your help, it is because she is teaching you something important." The comment stayed with Zara, adding to her growing sense that there was more to Mama Pendo then met the eye. On the 5th day of Zara's visit, a sudden storm struck the village. Thunder rumbled across the sky, and rain poured down in sheets. Zara had been helping Mama Pendo preserve herbs when the storm hit, making it impossible to return to her grandmother's home. "You must stay until it passes," Mama Pendo insisted. "The paths become dangerous in such weather." As evening fell and the storm intensified, Mama Pendo prepared a simple meal of root vegetables and a savory stew. The small house, lit only by oil lamps, felt strangely magical in the stormy darkness. "I'll prepare a place for you to sleep," Mama Pendo said, rising from their meal. "Wait here." Alone in the main room, Zara's gaze fell on a small wooden box she hadn't noticed before. Perhaps it was the unusual design or the way the lamplight caught its carved surface, but something about it called to her. Without thinking, she opened it. Inside was a key, old and ornate. Zara knew she should close the box and pretend she had never seen it, but curiosity overcame her. She looked around, then took the key, wondering what it might open. Her eyes fell on a small door in the corner of the room, partially hidden behind a hanging tapestry. The key fit perfectly in its lock. The door opened to reveal a small room Zara hadn't known existed. Unlike the main living area, this space was filled with items that seemed out of place in a rural village. Medical textbooks, scientific journals, framed certificates from prestigious universities, and photographs of a younger Mama Pendo in a doctor's white coat, standing alongside important-looking people. One newspaper clipping caught her eye. "Renowned surgeon Pendo Achille abandons career to return to rural roots." The article, dated 30 years earlier, detailed how Dr. Achille, after developing a revolutionary surgical technique, had shocked the medical world by turning down a prestigious position to work in underserved communities. "I see you found my past." Mama Pendo's voice came from behind her. Zara turned, guilt washing over her face. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have." "Perhaps you were meant to see it," Mama Pendo said, her voice gentle. "Come, sit with me. It's time you heard the full story." They returned to the main room, where Mama Pendo rekindled the fire. In its warm glow, she began her tale. "I was Dr. Pendo Achille once upon a time. I studied in the finest schools, worked in the most advanced hospitals, saved lives with these hands that now plant herbs in weed baskets. I had everything the world says matters: recognition, wealth, power." She paused, gazing into the flames. "Then I lost my daughter to a disease I couldn't cure, despite all my knowledge and resources. It broke something in me. I realized I had spent my life mastering modern medicine while forgetting the ancient wisdom of my ancestors. So I came here to learn what I had forgotten and to heal in a different way." "But you could have helped so many people with your skills," Zara said, trying to understand. "And who says I haven't?" Mama Pendo replied, "I've delivered babies, treated illnesses, eased pain. But I've done it on nature's terms, not with man's chemicals and machines. I've found a balance between the new knowledge and the old ways." She reached out and took Zara's hands in her own. "You remind me of myself at your age, caught between worlds, successful by society standards, but hungry for something more authentic. I see you carrying water jugs with your manicured hands, wearing your expensive clothes in the dust, searching for something your city life doesn't provide." Zara felt tears forming in her eyes. How had this woman seen so clearly what she herself was only beginning to understand? "What should I do?" she whispered. "I cannot tell you your path," Mama Pendo said, "but I can tell you this. True fulfillment comes not from what you achieve, but from how your achievements serve life." The next morning, Zara woke to sunshine streaming through the window and the realization that she needed to return to the city that day. Her presentation was tomorrow, and she had promised to review the final details with her team tonight. As she helped Mama Pendo with the morning water collection one last time, Zara felt a strange reluctance to leave. "I have to go back today," she said as they walked from the well. "I know," Mama Pendo replied. "But remember, you carry what you've learned here inside you. It doesn't stay behind when you leave." Zara spent her final hours in the village saying goodbye to her grandmother and, with a promise to return soon, began the drive back to the city. As skyscrapers came into view, Zara felt as if she were returning from another world rather than just a rural village a few hours away. The noise, the traffic, the hurried pace, it all seemed foreign now, even abrasive. In her apartment, surrounded by her expensive possessions, Zara felt oddly disconnected from the life she had built. She opened her laptop to review her presentation for tomorrow, a proposal for New Age's most ambitious project yet, a luxury resort and residential complex. As she scrolled through the slides, something caught her attention that she hadn't noticed before. The location map showed a development site near a rural area that looked strangely familiar. With growing horror, Zara zoomed in on the satellite image and confirmed her suspicion. The proposed resort would be built just kilometers from her grandmother's village. Further research revealed the full impact. The development would redirect water sources, clear ancient forests, and fundamentally change the region's ecosystem. The village wouldn't be destroyed, but its way of life would be altered forever. Zara barely slept that night, torn between her professional obligations and her newfound connection to the village. The presentation the next morning felt like a betrayal, each enthusiastic word about the project sticking in her throat. "Excellent work," Zara, her boss, Mr. Hodari, congratulated her afterward. "The board was very impressed. We're fast-tracking this project, and I want you to lead the marketing campaign. This could mean a director position for you by year's end." The promotion she had been working toward for years now felt hollow. But what could she do? She had signed contracts, had responsibilities to the company. She couldn't simply walk away. For the next week, Zara went through the motions of her job while researching the environmental impact of the proposed development. The more she learned, the more concerned she became. The resort would require massive amounts of water, potentially draining the aquifer that fed the village well. The construction would destroy habitats for plants like those Mama Pendo used for her medicines. Then came the news that pushed her to action. Preliminary soil testing had already begun in the area, and reports showed chemical contaminants leaking into the groundwater. The village's water supply could already be affected. Without waiting for the weekend, Zara took emergency leave and drove back to the village, her car packed with bottled water and water testing kits. She arrived to find several villagers, including her grandmother, gathered around the well. "It tastes wrong," one woman was saying. "My children had stomach pains after drinking it yesterday." Zara pushed through the crowd. "Noma, has anyone tested the water?" Her grandmother looked relieved to see her. "Zara, no. We have sent word to the district office, but they may not come for days. Many are falling ill." "Where's Mama Pendo?" Zara asked, subtly concerned for the old woman who lived alone. "She has not been seen since yesterday," someone replied. "She often goes to the forest to gather plants when sickness comes." Zara grabbed her testing kit and a bottle of clean water and headed straight for Mama Pendo's home. She found the old woman lying on her bed, her breathing labored and her skin hot with fever. "Mama Pendo," Zara called, rushing to her side. "It's Zara. I brought clean water." The old woman's eyes fluttered open. "I knew you would return," she whispered. "The water, something is wrong with it." "I know," Zara said, helping her drink. "My company, they're planning to build near here. The soil testing must have contaminated the groundwater." Despite her weakness, Mama Pendo's gaze remained sharp. "So, you know now, the connection between your world and ours." "Yes," Zara admitted, guilt washing over her. "I didn't realize until after I left." "And now?" Mama Pendo asked. "Now I'm going to make it right," Zara promised. "But first, I need your help. The villagers are getting sick. Do you have medicines that could help?" Mama Pendo pointed to various herbs hanging from her ceiling. "Those will help with the symptoms, but the source must be addressed." Over the next few hours, Zara helped Mama Pendo prepare herbal remedies for the affected villagers while explaining everything about the development project. Together, they created a plan. Zara would use her position at New Age to stop the contamination and propose an alternative development approach, while Mama Pendo would share her knowledge of the land's medicinal resources. "These plants," Mama Pendo explained, showing Zara her garden, "have value beyond what your company understands. Some contain compounds that modern medicine has yet to discover. An idea began to form in Zara's mind, one that might save both the village and her career. Back in the city, Zara marched into Mr. Hodari's office without an appointment. "The Mjini project needs to be halted immediately," she announced. "The soil testing has contaminated the local water supply." Mr. Hodari frowned. "That's unfortunate, but not uncommon in development. We'll provide compensation, if necessary." "Compensation won't replace what could be lost," Zara countered, placing a folder on his desk. "This is a proposal for an alternative approach." Her plan was bold. Instead of a traditional resort, New Age would create an eco-wellness center that preserved the natural environment and incorporated traditional healing practices. The unique selling point would be access to rare medicinal plants and ancient knowledge, a luxury experience that catered to growing interest in natural wellness. "The profit margins would be higher," Zara explained, "because we'd be offering something truly unique rather than just another resort. And we'd partner with the local community rather than displacing them." Mr. Hodari skimmed the proposal, his expression calculating. "This is a significant deviation from our usual model, which is exactly why it will generate press attention and position New Age as an innovative, forward-thinking company," Zara argued. "Plus, I've already identified several pharmaceutical companies potentially interested in research partnerships regarding the medicinal plants." The negotiation continued for hours. Zara leveraged every skill she had developed in her corporate career, now fighting for a cause she truly believed in. When she finally left Mr. Hodari's office, she had preliminary approval to develop her alternative proposal, conditional on demonstrating community support and commercial viability. She immediately called her grandmother. "Noma, I need to meet with the village elders. And Mama Pendo, if she's well enough." 2 days later, Zara stood before the village council, translating her corporate proposal into terms that addressed their concerns and respected their traditions. "This plan would preserve the well in the forest," she explained. "It would create jobs that value your knowledge rather than replace it. And Mama Pendo's medicinal garden would be protected as a living library of traditional healing." The elders listened carefully, asking pointed questions about control and ownership. Zara had anticipated their concerns and had structured a proposal to ensure the village maintained rights to their traditional knowledge and received fair compensation for sharing it. Throughout the meeting, Mama Pendo sat quietly in the corner, her observant eyes missing nothing. When the elders had finished their questions, they turned to her. "Mama Pendo, you understand both worlds. What do you say?" The old woman rose slowly, her recent illness still evident in her movements. "I have watched Zara carry water with her own hands. I have seen her learn the names of plants and listen to the wisdom of our stories. She has taken what she learned here and created a bridge between our world and hers." She turned to Zara. "This is the work you were meant to do, child." 6 months later, construction began on the Mjini Wellness Center. Unlike typical development projects, this one started with water protection measures and careful cataloging of plant species. Villagers were hired not just for labor but as consultants, their knowledge valued alongside that of architects and designers. Zara had been promoted to Director of Sustainable Development, a new position created specifically for her. She now spent half her time in the village, overseeing the project and continuing her education with Mama Pendo. Together, they established a foundation to document and preserve traditional medicinal knowledge, creating a digital database that would ensure these practices wouldn't be lost time. The project garnered international attention, featured in business magazines as an example of innovative, responsible development. The village well remained, now protected by modern filtration systems that maintain its purity without altering its character. Beside it, a modern water system was installed, giving villagers the option of convenience while preserving tradition. Mama Pendo's home became the centerpiece of the wellness center, though she insisted it remain exactly as it was, a humble mud brick house filled with handcrafted beauty. She now had apprentices from both the village and the city, young people eager to learn the wisdom she had once feared would die with her. One afternoon, Zara found Mama Pendo teaching a group of university students about herbal remedies in her garden. "Those who carried water can now carry knowledge," Mama Pendo said with a smile when she saw Zara. "I never thanked you properly," Zara said when the students had gone, "for everything you taught me. You thank me with your actions, Mama Pendo replied. That is the most sincere form of gratitude. 6 months later, construction began on the Missouri Wellness Center. Unlike typical development projects, this one started with water protection measures and careful cataloging of plant species. Villagers were hired not just for labor but as consultants, their knowledge valued alongside that of architects and designers. Zara had been promoted to Director of Sustainable Development, a new position created specifically for her. She now spent half her time in the village, overseeing the project and continuing her education with Mama Pendo. Together, they established a foundation to document and preserve traditional medicinal knowledge, creating a digital database that would ensure these practices wouldn't be lost to time. The project garnered international attention, featured in business magazines as an example of innovative, responsible development. We're creating something that honors both worlds, Zara explained to a journalist during a site tour. Modern convenience doesn't have to come at the expense of traditional wisdom. The wellness center took shape organically, with buildings designed to blend with the landscape rather than dominate it. Solar panels provided electricity, while rainwater collection systems supplemented the natural water sources. The architecture incorporated local materials and building techniques, creating spaces that felt both timeless and contemporary. Most importantly, the village well remained, now protected by modern filtration systems that maintained its purity without altering its character. Beside it, a modern water system was installed, giving villagers the option of convenience while preserving tradition. Water carries memory. Mama Pendo had insisted when the engineers presented their plans. The village children should still know what it means to draw water from the earth, even if they don't have to do it every day. Noma watched with pride as her granddaughter moved between worlds with increasing ease. In the city, Zara still wore her corporate attire and spoke the language of profit margins and stakeholder value. But now she carried a small pouch of herbs in her designer handbag and often removed her shoes to feel the earth beneath her feet when making important decisions. In the village, Zara maintained her connection to modern technology, bringing solar-powered laptops to the community center and teaching younger villagers how to document their heritage in ways that would ensure its survival in a changing world. You have found your purpose, Noma told her one evening as they sat on the porch, watching the sunset. Not many are blessed to serve as bridges between worlds. Mama Pendo's home became the centerpiece of the wellness center, though she insisted it remain exactly as it was a humble mud brick house filled with handcrafted beauty. She now had apprentices from both the village and the city, young people eager to learn the wisdom she had once feared would die with her. One afternoon, Zara found Mama Pendo teaching a group of university students about herbal remedies in her garden. Those who carried water can now carry knowledge, Mama Pendo said with a smile when she saw Zara. I never thanked you properly, Zara said when the students had gone, for everything you taught me. You thanked me with your actions, Mama Pendo replied. That is the most sincere form of gratitude. You carried my water when my arms were weak. Now you carry something far more precious, the future of this place and its wisdom. 1 year later, Zara stood at the village well, watching a young woman in business attire struggling with a water jug. The woman was an executive from a pharmaceutical company interested in ethical partnerships with the foundation. May I help you with that? Zara offered, stepping forward. The woman looked up, embarrassment crossing her face. I thought I should try it myself to understand. It's much harder than it looks. It gets easier, Zara assured her, adjusting the woman's grip on the container. And more meaningful when you understand where the water goes and why it matters. Together, they carried the water to Mama Pendo's home, where the old woman, now the director of botanical research for the foundation, waited to show them her newest medicinal discovery. Zara's phone buzzed with messages from the city office, but she silenced it. Those concerns could wait until tomorrow. Today was for walking between worlds, for carrying water and wisdom, for remembering that the simplest acts of kindness could transform not just one life, but an entire community. As the three women sat sharing tea from Mama Pendo's chipped clay cups, Zara caught sight of a reflection in one of the small mirrors adorning the old doctor staff. The woman looking back at her was neither the driven executive she had once been nor simply a village daughter returned home. She was something new, a bridge builder, a water carrier, a keeper of both old wisdom and new possibilities. Sometimes the most life-changing moments come disguised as simple acts of kindness. When Zara helped that old woman carry her water, she had no idea she was taking the first step on a journey that would transform not just her life, but an entire community. We all have opportunities to bridge worlds, to carry what matters from one place to another. The question is, will we recognize these moments when they arrive,